So today's topic is the new offer feature. We're going to talk about how it works, when to use it, and all the great perks related to it. Okay. So first, let me tell you about what a new offer feature is. You use the new offer feature whenever a deal falls through or was canceled or terminated for any reason. And there's another new accepted offer on the same listing that you need to track separately. Okay. You can also use the new offer feature if a deal has fallen through and you need to preserve that fell through transaction and then spin off a new transaction that you need to set as listed in pipeline. Okay? And we'll talk about both of those scenarios in a moment. But first, let's talk about how the new offer feature works, or just the premise of it. Basically, when you use the new offer feature, it's going to create a duplicate of an existing transaction. It's going to copy over all of your listing specific information. So basically creating a new listing transaction identical to the original transaction. So all of your docs will be copied over except for your sale and buyer docs, all of your listing specific tasks, etc. It will not copy over any sale specific information. So no sale docs, no sale tasks, no buyer information, no sale price, etc. Okay, so it'll clear that out so you've got a fresh listing that you can track independently from that old or original offer. Alrighty? And each of those new offer transactions can be tracked independently. So the activity that happened on that original offer stays intact, and then you can track any new activity, whether it's notes or tasks, docs, conversations, everything separately in that new offer transaction. Alrighty? And you can have more than one. So if you've got that that original transaction, let's say, and that deal fell through, and then you spin off a new offer off of that one, and let's say that offer falls through, you can still create another new offer. So as many as actually occur, and they'll all be tied together to that same property. Okay. And I do want to be clear, some people, when they hear the term new offer, they think that they're going to use the new offer feature for their first offer. And that's not the case. So I'd like to be clear about that. So if I've got a transaction that I've created a transaction, it's a listing, I get an offer on it, I put that original offer in that original transaction. I do not spin off a new offer at that point. The only time I would use the new offer feature is on a subsequent new offer or a new offer, right? So that original offer stays with the original transaction. Any subsequent offers, I would use the new offer feature to create a new offer on that transaction. Alrighty? Okay, and so last thing, just about conceptually, the new offer feature is most effective when you've got got the listing side. If you've got the buying side, that's not going to be useful at all because that sale information doesn't get copied over into the new transaction. So again, these are for when you've got the listing side. This feature is for when you've got the listing side. Okay, so let us dive in. Let me hop on over to Pipeline. Alrighty, and let's go into a transaction. Search one here. All right, okay, so let's say we've got this transaction here. And it is, I'm going to change, actually its status is already pending. We've got an offer outstanding on that, on this particular transaction, right? Okay, so let's say the deal fell through. What I do is come here and edit this transaction, change its status to whatever my fell through status is, update my information as appropriate, and save that transaction. So I've got my fell through transaction here, right? Now let's say I've got a new offer on this transaction. Remember I said there are two scenarios. Let's say I've got a new offer on the transaction, or I just need to relist this. Either of those scenarios, I would use the new offer feature. So let's assume that I've just got a new offer on it, okay? So I'm gonna go, while I'm on this deal fell through transaction, I'm going to click new offer over here from the left. Like I mentioned, it's going to make a duplicate of this transaction, copying over all of the listing specific information. So my agents, listing agents, my docs except sale and buyer docs, etc. right? I can copy over all the checklist tasks if I need to. If I do, it's going to copy over any tasks where the listing agent had visibility to the tasks, okay? And then I can also copy over any notes optionally, all right? One thing I want to mention here, when you're utilizing the new offer feature, it's going to, by default, name this as number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. You can stick with that naming convention. That's perfectly fine. Tons of offices do. Or you can also use this to be more personal and name it based on the buyer. So maybe this is the Lewis offer, right? So I can say Halfway Street Lewis. So that way, when I create this offer by clicking this button, I can see right away in the title of the, or the name of this transaction that this is the Lewis offer. Okay, so I've got my new offer here. Right away, I would change its status because obviously this is my new offer. It has not fallen through. So I'm going to change this to pending or whatever my appropriate status is for this new offer. Notice, remember I mentioned that it copies over all the listing specific information. So all of my sale information, including the acceptance date, the buyer name, my sale price, etc., has been wiped out so that I can now track my new sale information in this transaction. So I would fill all of this in, specify my status, give it the new acceptance date, whatever that is, my new buyer name, ready? And anything else that needs to be changed. I probably got a new outside co-op agent, etc., and save that transaction. I'm not going to fill that in for now. Alrighty. So now, in just a few clicks, I created a duplicate of that transaction that was listing appropriate, and I've added my new sale information. It automatically links back to the original transaction over here. I can actually just click to toggle back and forth between those. So now I'm on my original, and from my original, I can see any new transactions attached to that. And you can have as many, I think I mentioned this, you can have as many new offers as occur. So if that first you've got that first original transaction and it falls through and you create a new offer, and if that one falls through, you can create a new offer from that, etc. I think I did mention that. Okay. Alrighty. So if you've got multiple new offers, they'll all be listed here. Okay. That's the new offer feature and how easily it can work. Now, one thing to mention is that if you've got multiple offers at the start, or at whatever timing they come in, you're going to have you've got the potential to have the offer that you accept and then some rejected offers. And you've got a couple of different options for how you store those. We'll see a lot of offices who will store the rejected offers in the original transaction and then use the doc labels to label them as rejected offers. Okay, that's actually an agreement, not a rejected offer, but you get the point, right? Do I have any offers in here? But pretend that was an offer, right? So I can label these as my rejected offers. And then that way, right away, I can see these yellows, they're rejected offers. I can disregard those for, depending on what I'm looking at. Okay, we'll get some offices who, by choice or because the real estate commission requires it or whatever, will store each of those rejected offers in a separate transaction. So create a new transaction or a new offer for each of those rejected offers. Further up here, right? Create a new offer, use the new offer feature for each of those rejected offers. Okay, and that way, in those cases, a lot of times the real estate commission will require that they retain a separate tracking number for each of those rejected offers, etc. Now, there is an alternative to creating doing a new transaction or a new offer for each of those rejected offers. And that is, again, to store them in here, but also if the real estate commission requires that they have a separate tracking number, there are ways to get those. Since each document actually has a unique ID, you can pull it from that. Anyone who's interested in that, it gets a little more involved, so we can stay on after the call and you just let us know and we'd be happy to jump into how you can do that instead of actually creating a separate transaction for each of those rejected offers, which in some markets can be really not feasible because you get dozens of new offers and creating a new transaction for each of those can get really cumbersome. Okay, so that's creating a new offer. So let's talk about why you should use the new offer feature instead of doing it manually. The most obvious reason is it's tons faster, right? We created a new offer in just 2 clicks, right? Or actually, yeah, 2 clicks if I don't rename that. So I hit the new offer button, I hit create offer, and I've automatically got a new offer. So super fast, very efficient, got that listing over, a new listing basically identical to the original one in just that couple of clicks. The second benefit is that the first, let me hop back over to the main transaction here. The first 5 new offers, I just created that second one there. The first 5 new offers on a transaction do not count against your quota. So you can have 5 new offers and that does not impact your monthly quota. Once you get 6 or more, then it starts to impact your monthly quota. Okay. And then the last benefit is pretty obvious here. It keeps them tied together, right? So I can see all of my new offers that are related to a transaction here, and from the original offer. And then when I'm on the new offer, I can see the parent transaction. Okay. And that's pretty much it for how, when, and the benefits of using the new offer feature.